You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna wait for y'all to share this video really quick. Really quick though. I'm gonna let somebody jump in the room. I'm gonna give y'all this energy one time. Peace to the God. Share this video. Really quick though. I gotta express this heat for y'all one time. I'm gonna give y'all 1 second to just do me a favor and share this video. Hit the arrow, send it to everybody really quick. So this is just some research I had to bring forth. I'm gonna cite a source and everything. Y'all can do your own research and just tell me I'm bugging. That's enough people in here for me. Listen, share this video and peace to the gods, peace to the frequency, right? When you look into the ancestors, right? When you look into antiquity, the ancestors who built the pyramids are the people in the universe, right? That we take pride in. Are the people? The ancestors are the people in the universe that we feel like we can take pride in the fact that they were black, that they looked like us, that they were melanated, that they were people of the sun. They built the pyramid, right? They were people of a high prestige. Those priests and priestesses are given reverence because of the civilization that they were able to build when technology was so-called primitive. When what we think is technology, when we think they didn't have access to what we have access to, when really they had access to something far more greater, which is a connection to the spiritual source, the creator, the creation, the source, the Most High. They had that simple connection with the Most High. Let me tell you something. Most of those people, right, that built our pyramids, most of those people who were the highest of society in terms of the empires of our ancestors that came from the motherland, from the homeland, they were vegetarians, they were vegans, they were plant-based, they were whatever negative connotation you want to attach to drinking and eating and living healthy. That's what they were. That's why they were able to do mathematics and quantum physics and sacred geometry on that level, that they were able to build monolithic structures that cannot even be quantified in this day and time. Yet, they can't even be quantified how these people build those megalithic structures with the primitive Dika technology that they had. When truthfully, the technology they had probably trumps the technology that is out today. We think the most advanced shit is an iPhone 27. When probably they didn't have the iPhone 100 back then, right? So what I'm here to share with you is just information that don't be fearful that you might be deficient of anything because you choose to be plant-based, because you choose to be vegan, because you choose to be vegetarian, because you choose to be however you want to describe your holistic lifestyle in terms of eating clean. This shit ain't trendy. This shit ain't cute. This shit is reality. This is our life, right? So now that's our ancestors, right? They worked magnificence with their consciousness in terms of their diet, their lifestyle. They were able to create heaven on earth. They were able to create a civilization that we would fall short if we try to mimic in this day and age. Although it was Babylonian then, it was capitalism. I mean the divinity within the priesthood. Those people were able to ascend to heights that can only be fathomed with the mind in today's day and time. So now, let's look at the ancient Roman Catholics, right? Those were the Roman gladiators, right? Those were the people who were the prize fighters of back in the day, like the Floyd Mayweathers, like the Mike Tysons, like the whatever era you from and you could name, Muhammad Ali, Evander Holyfield, all them niggas. Those people from back then, from the time of antiquity, from the Roman Empire, they were gladiators. They were thrown in in stadiums and arenas to wrestle a lion, to wrestle a gorilla. And this was entertainment back then. But the reason that they were able to sustain strength enough to wrestle a fucking alligator or to even be jumping into some type of battle with a tiger is because they were attuned to the knowledge of the previous ancestors. When the Canaanites went into the libraries of Alexandria and took that divine information, they knew to eat close to the earth. They knew that these people that created this civilization, they ate very clean. They were very meek. They were divine beings. They were the supreme beings, God in human forms. They were the closest descension to that essence that we all stem from. That was them. The Romans knew this, so the Romans mimicked them. This is why the Romans were able to perform incomparable feats. They were able to wrestle with lions and stuff like that. And when you study the bones, archaeologists have studied the bones of these people, and they see that their diet was mostly consisted of vegetarian. That's not to say, like people say, we're not monkeys or whatever. A monkey might eat some insects or whatever. Right, so you don't have to kill animals. Most of the world's land, about 83% of it, is taken up for agriculture. Don't you understand that? For you to live a vegan lifestyle in 1 year, it only uses up 1 acre of land. 1 acreage of land you would have to use up to sustain yourself and your family if you were vegan. Now, if you eat them savage meals, you have to take up hundreds of acres of land just to sustain yourself, because it takes so much water and it takes so many resources just to be able to sustain these cattle, which are not even divine forms of life. You shouldn't even be wanting to take life or sustain your life from energy from those type of life forms, because they're non-cipher, God. So at the end of the day, what I'm here to tell you is don't be fearful. Don't let the fear tactic use you. Yes, we should be breatharians. Yes, we should be fruitarians, but this is reality. We're not vibrating on that frequency in terms of geographically. We're not where we're supposed to be, so we can't eat how we're supposed to eat. We have to humble ourselves. We have to eat of the earth, yes, to stay grounded. But if we eat pus and blood, what that does is it creates inflammation in our body. It clogs our arteries. Our blood is not able to function properly. We do not receive the proper oxygen to the brain. So therefore, we're not vibrating at the highest frequency that we can vibrate at. We're not living at our optimal state. And there's athletes today there are prize fighters and professional athletes today that have adopted a vegan and of a plant-based lifestyle, and all they seen was that their recovery increased. All they seen was that their performance increased. All they seen was that their capabilities and abilities only intensified and magnified because of the plant-based lifestyle. I'm not here to judge you if you eat meat. I'm just here to tell you that you can harness greater and cleaner energy from a plant source, is what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you, when you feel that stress, when you feel that pain in your back, put the goddamn cigarette down, put the blunt down, put the hamburger and the cheeseburger down. Have a kale wrap, have a kale salad, have an avocado. You think you're going to be deficient of something? Yeah, you're deficient of divine knowledge yourself. You deficient of the diligence and the discipline that you need to become who you need to be, to come into your greatest self. That's what you're deficient of. You're deficient of the discipline that you need to ascend to your God body status. That's what you're deficient of. I'm not here to criticize you if you eat meat. I'm here to tell you that that's like using the VCR. We have Netflix. You don't need, get rid of them tapes. This is the Wi-Fi password, nigga. So basically that's what I'm here to tell you. There was this German chemist, right? His name was Justus Liebig, right? This guy, he came up with the premise that animal protein sustains long periods of strenuous exercise, which is false. But he came up with this premise, and that created the meat industry. So that it goes deeper than you could ever imagine. You see what I'm saying? That's a false premise. They say that you feel deficient and depleted if you off plants, but truly
people debunked that information and said, "Oh no, that's actually bullshit." But it was already too popular by then, because his theory came out that the meat infuses your freaking exercise. So people fell for it, and then it started to become a big thing and a whole fad. So the information that debunked it came out too late. They were too late, because everyone was already like, "Oh, meat is gonna give us our energy," and so they believe
milk does a body good. And the meat industry caters to the dairy industry. It's all an industry. But really, that's what it is. It's just an industry to take from you, to subdue your mind, to trick you out of your divinity. Check out at Rep Puss Bill Page speaks on this and everything. In facts. Shout out to the gods in the room. Shout out to everybody in the building. But you have to look up heme iron. You have to start familiarizing yourself with these terms. You have to begin to understand that is a hypnosis to tell you that you need meat for protein. Because listen closely, right? The cow eats grass for protein. And the cow never ordered a burger in its life. And like Dick Gregory says, if you put an apple and a rabbit inside of a baby carriage, you will never see the day that the baby eats the rabbit and plays with the apple. It's innately in us. We know what to do. They trick us to fund their industries and also to control us in terms of the masses, because if they control what you eat, they control what you do, what you think, what you feel. You see what I'm saying? So a plant-based protein, it helps fight against inflammation. When you plant-based, when you get your proteins from plants, it gives you antioxidants. And you may think like you eating clean salmon, that's a clean piece of fish, right? But and you know that iceberg lettuce has like very little nutrients. And if you're gonna have a salad, it definitely ain't gonna be an iceberg salad, right? That's a fact. But you gotta understand that even iceberg lettuce, which is like deficient of most of the nutrients that we need, has more antioxidants than a piece of fish, than 3 boiled eggs, than your breakfast. So your breakfast is really a trick. You're putting that in you so your body can begin to digest something that you don't need to digest, and that's distracting you and taking you away from your divinity. You're here to become God realized in human flesh. You're not supposed to be
digesting sausages and eggs in the morning fried.
Yeah, exactly, because that doesn't have any information for you on a cellular level. That's not going to feed you genetically. That's just like creating a void space in your belly, kind of like. That's like when you usurp your mother's breast milk and you give your child something else. Yes, the child will grow, but the question is, will the child thrive? Will the neurotransmitter in the child's mind connect to the point where the communication between the child cells are on an effective level? You see what I'm saying? That's the questions we have to ask ourselves. Cardiovascular and heart disease, all that shit comes from eating meat, and diabetes. All that shit we was taught was to kill ourselves. You have to understand, it increases your blood supply when you eat of the plants. It increases your oxygen levels. I'm trying to tell you, when you eat meat, your blood becomes cloudy and all this type of shit. I'm gonna show y'all this information, like, cause I'm done with this subject. I just wanna let y'all know, like, stop being fearful. I got people texting me and clipping up videos and showing me reasons why I should be fearful, like how I'm depleted of certain minerals. And dog, you can supplement, nigga. And I ain't talking about going to GNC, nigga. You heard of Dr. Baba Sebi. What are you talking about? Eat some kelp. Go get some kale wraps. Put some seaweed in them things with some aguacate. Put some cilantro in that thing like that, yo. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what are you afraid of? You afraid to become God. You know what I'm saying? You want to vibrate on a low frequency. You want to stay mortal. You afraid to vibrate at your highest. You afraid. That's the thing. We're not afraid of others. We're afraid of our power. We're afraid of what we can do. You dig what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, like, your blood is a crystal. You see what I'm saying? So if your blood is cloudy, that means your bones is cloudy. Your bones are a crystal. You come from the sun. So how the fuck is your blood all cloudy? That means clouded. That means your mind is clouded. Do you think this is just a certain dimension we're trapped in? Yeah, we're not trapped though, because we chose to come here. We descended here. We chose to come here, so we're not trapped. And we leave here every night and we choose to come back. So you're not trapped. Don't ever feel trapped. Your situation is designed specifically for you to learn what you need to learn, because you're going somewhere. You're headed somewhere. And if you ever, let me tell you something. This is a whole nother video, and I'm going to get back on topic. This is about plant-based and meat, but let me tell you something that you probably already know, right? The reason you feel tired and sometimes you just angry with life is because you're a warrior and you're not from here. You descended here to learn more lessons so you can graduate, because where you're going, all of these emotional things that you carry around, society telling you that you fat, telling you that you black and ugly, telling you that you are homosexual, telling you that you a spick. All of these things that society has taught you, it's just to harden you, give you thicker skin, because where you're going, you're going to need this. You come from a greater place. You see what I'm saying? But let me get back on topic. So this is about why I need my people who's starting to transition into a plant-based diet to go in head first. Don't tread softly. Don't be scared. You have to grab life by the balls, if you will, and go at it. ¿Tú me entiendes lo que te estoy diciendo? You can't have one dimension without the other. Other dimension is still in you. You of a different form. That's a fact. Because everything exists simultaneously. But what's happening now with this information, with the information age, not this specific information, all information that is vibrating on a certain frequency that comes of the light bearer, that comes of the true source, of the true creator, of the true most high, of you. That is the information that is going to heal humanity and create a separation in between the parallel universes that exist, where we will no longer have to observe with our eyes, with our senses, or even absorb with our energies a world of bigotry, of war, of hatred, of straight negativity, of famine, of poverty. Because if you look at it, it's crabs in a barrel mentality that persists on every level. Even the highest people are all competing with each other. It's like, what the fuck? You think about it on a certain level and you realize that this is all by design. We don't even come from here. We realize that. By now, we know that. So I'm going to flip this around really quick, though. And this is just to give y'all a better synopsis of what I'm trying to say. Because like I said before, a lot of y'all articulate yourselves better than me. But at the end of the day, if you conscious, if you woke and you're not expressing yourself, then you're still a slave. Because that's the purpose of your information, is to hand it to somebody else. This is a baton. Pass somebody else the baton. You dig what I'm saying? Peace to everybody in the room. Share this video, y'all, because this might not be for you, but it's definitely going to help somebody else that needs to hear this. ¿Tú me entiendes lo que te estoy diciendo? So let's see where we could go with this. Let's get closer to that thing and press play. Let's get it.
Plant-based diet. I wasn't sure if I was going to survive. And I actually became like a machine. I got up from being able to move about 300 pounds on the inverted leg slip to moving 585 pounds, 60 reps, times 5 sets.
To move that kind of weight, you need more than just energy. You also need strength. In other words, protein. I just couldn't believe that Dotson, or anyone for that matter, could get enough protein eating only plants.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions in sports nutrition is that we have to have animal protein, in a particular meat, to get big and strong and perform at a high level. That's just clearly not true. All that protein that you get when you eat a steak or a hamburger, where did it come from? It came from the plants that the cow ate.
I was surprised to learn that all protein originates in plants.
Photosynthesis, my people. Photosynthesis, my people.
Surprised to learn.
Share this video. What does the cow eat? You think you need to eat the cow for protein? Talk to them. Teach them. Photosynthesis, yo. These are very simple concepts.
Only plants.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions in sports nutrition is that we have to have animal protein, in a particular meat, to get big and strong and perform at a high level. That's just clearly not true. All that protein that you get when you eat a steak or a hamburger, where did it come from? It came from the plants that the cow ate.
I was surprised to learn that all protein originates in plants. Cows, pigs, and chickens, it turns out, are just the middlemen. In fact, the largest study that compared the nutrient intake of meat eaters with plant eaters showed that the average plant eater not only gets enough protein, but 70% more than they need. Even meat eaters like me get roughly half of their protein from plants. Athletes need more protein than most people do. So I crunched the numbers from the study and realized that based on the amount of calories I was eating, I'd still be getting more than enough protein to build and maintain muscle. For example, 1 cup of cooked lentils or a peanut butter sandwich has about as much protein as 3 ounces of beef or 3 large eggs. But what about the quality of the protein? I'd always heard that plant-based protein was inferior.
Proteins are strings of amino acids, and there's some amino acids our bodies can't make. Those are the essential amino acids.
See,
so
that's what
we have to get them
proteins
from food.
Amino
And
acids.
one of the
know what
arguments
that
about
is.
animal-based
They
proteins
think
being
proteins like
superior
points,
is that
like
plant-based
muscle
proteins
points.
are complete.
Get
So
out of here.
People associate protein with like muscle points.
Right. And
Instead
when
of-
it is an amino acid, it's a builder.
Instead of knowing that they need minerals. You
A
know?
century
and
trace
he just
mineral.
said that right there. Like
Facts.
the whole world needs
He
to
just
know
broke
what
it
this
down.
is.
That's what I'm saying.
He
I
just
gotta
broke
share
it
this
down.
because if not, I won't be able to rest. Like,
You're not going to get all the amino
Shit.
acids. And
We don't all
that's a
know this?
fallacy as well.
Again, I was surprised to discover that every single plant contains all the essential amino acids in varying proportions. And when it comes to gaining strength and muscle mass, research comparing plant and animal protein has shown that as long as the proper amount of amino acids are consumed, the source is irrelevant. This all sounded great in theory, but all the athletes I've met so far were pretty lean. If getting lots of protein without animal foods really wasn't an issue, where were all the big guys?
that's a fact. That's another spell that must be cast away. They think vegan is somebody who eats gerbil food all day, rabbit food. We don't eat no protein. They think we weak. They don't think we have any stamina. They think a vegan, they associate a vegan with like a deer. And they associate a carnivore with like a lion. But when you do the math, even if you look at a lion, right? A lion is a carnivore. I'll give you that. A lion has a digestive tract of a carnivore. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's not a herbivore. You got that. You won that argument. But now I ask you, when the lion or the lioness makes its kill, right? What is the first thing that the lion goes after when it eats the gazelle? It goes right to the stomach. It eats all of the plants that are in the stomach of the gazelle first. Why, you may ask? Only because it is smart enough to know that it needs that plant protein not only to digest, but to also get most of the nutrients that's not in the blood, that's not in the meat, but it's actually in the grass that the gazelle ate. Talk about it. Now, I'm gonna be brief with y'all because I understand everybody got shit to do and everybody wanna fall asleep and wake up and awaken at the time that they so choose. And a lot of us feel like we have that luxury. So I'm just here to put this information here and ask you to share it. You do what you shall.
Recovery is the most essential element of an elite athlete's existence. It's damage repair, and you do that over and over again. Because if you can do more work and more repair, you're going to be the better athlete.
Dotsy was right. Bouncing back quickly between workouts is a huge advantage for any athlete. But the idea that food could be the secret weapon, I had to find out more. Dr. Scott Stoll is a former Olympian and a team physician for the USA Olympic team.
I work with professional athletes that are very interested in protein. Protein's important, but which package is your protein coming in is the better question to answer. The plant-based protein versus the animal protein, which package is going to help the body overcome inflammation and help the body to recover? In animal products, you're getting protein packaged with inflammatory molecules like Nu-5GC, endotoxins, and heme iron. When we consume animal products, it also changes the microbiome, the bacteria that live in our gut. And the bacterial species that have been shown to promote inflammation overgrow and begin to produce inflammatory mediators like TMAO.
The study that showed that a single hamburger impairs blood flow also showed that it can increase measures of inflammation by 70%. In the arteries, inflammation reduces blood flow. In muscles and joints, it can increase soreness and delay recovery.
It's almost like this, it's self-explanatory like this. I'm doing a disservice to the facts. I'm just interrupting what's being said, like facts. It's like the truth. It's unrefutable, undeniable.
Self-defense, and was always there to help me when I got into trouble. But now, he was the one who needed help.
You had a heart attack.
Correct.
Had you had much in the way of symptoms prior to this episode?
No, never before.
After my dad got out of the hospital following emergency heart surgery, we got on a Skype call with Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, an internationally renowned heart disease researcher from the Cleveland Clinic.
Always been, I think, very fit. So somewhat of a surprise.
Well, no, not.
I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna just keep it 1,000 with y'all. Do your own research. Matter of fact, if you want to watch this film, it's called Game Changer. Go to Netflix, watch this film, and anybody in your reality try to tell you bugging because you want to eat up the earth, because you want to remain plant-based. Just help them. Give them this information. Watch that documentary with them and share this video. Listen to this. No matter where you go, that's where you're gonna be. You can't run from yourself. You could try to run from you, but you can't. You already know the truth. You already know what's real. Everywhere you go, that reality is going to always be present and remind you of who you are, of what you are. Now, you could continue to ignore it, and that's on you. You could continue to give your observation and your consciousness and your resources to something that's not helping you or your family, or you can decide to grab control of your life. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to leave you with this. There's an experiment that was done on New York City firefighters, right? A lot of these firefighters, most of New York City's finest firefighters, a lot of them suffer from cardiovascular, heart disease. The number one cause of firefighters in New York City is not fires, it's heart attacks. Because they were under the paradigm and program that a man has to eat meat, that a man eats meat, right? So now there was an experiment done on them actually, and what happened was they bought these firefighters groceries, Whole Foods, plant-based groceries, and told them to eat this for 7 days. And then they checked their vital signs, and all of them showed improvement in terms of their cardiovascular health, in terms of reversing disease that the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry tell you that's irreversible. So that's proof right there. Like, I'm done talking about this. Eat whatever the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying? Just have reverence and respect for the food that sustains your life. Yes, the ancestors ate meat, but that meat was like family to them almost. That meat, they would kill their own meat that they raised, and they would worship it and give reverence to the life force in that meat. And they would create a ritual around the slaughtering of that meat. And they would utilize every piece of that animal, from the blood to the feathers to the skin to the meat to the bones to everything. So do your research before you just follow blindly. If it resonates with your heart, then you're not wrong. If it's not resonating with your heart, then you have to listen to your gut. If you haven't heard these words today, I love you. Peace to the frequency. You have no choice, yo. You are the chosen.